said here, today we're gonna dive in and find out what are the top 10 programming languages in 2025. You might not realize, but many people are using MacBooks and other powerful machines for coding. It's not as easy as sitting in front of a camera and talking about a script that you already learned, but this is what I can call to have the power in your hand. Because if you know any programming languages, you can build so many websites. You can build a calculator pretty much from the simplest thing, for example, building a calculator, to something complex, like, for example, building a Facebook copy, for example, or any other social media. So let's dive in and see what are the best programming languages. First, before I dive in, I wanted to tell you some background of me and my university career. So technically, my bachelor degree is informatics/computer science. So I am well known in programming and programming languages. I have studied quite a lot. So initially, I just started with C++. I feel like this is everywhere. Even in high school, I had informatics a little bit. So yes, I did start with C++. Next, I also had Java. We had Python as well, but they were in the same semester. So I decided that if I study both languages, I might start mixing them. So I chose Java over Python, but I also had this as an option. So now we're marking two. I had a little bit of JavaScript as well, HTML, CSS, I had PHP, and .NET framework with Node.js. So pretty much a little bit of everything. We even studied SQL as well. So doing queries and stuff like this, base stuff I have done. So technically multiple languages that in the end I had no idea what exactly I want to do, which language I want to choose. So now I'm studying some courses. I transferred to JavaScript. So this is what I want to do. I started from the very beginning, simple tasking. Now I'm already in my second course. So let's see how we'll go with that. But let's say that I have experienced quite a few programming languages, and it's a personal choice which one you want to study. There is no like best language in the world you should study. It's just because according to some rankings this language is the best, it doesn't mean you have to use this. Being a programmer is one of the well-paid jobs around the world. So technically, no matter which language you study, which you master, you will still find a job, you will still succeed if you want to be in this field. So now let's see what are the best languages. In not specific order, the first language is Python. This is one of the most preferred languages when it comes to IT specialists and programmers around the world. It's very easy, simple, efficient to use. I would like to say you can be carefree with it when you're using it, because compared to, for example, C++, we're declaring variables or writing functions, objects, classes. These things should be specifically done in a strict way. Here it's not like that. You have more vulnerability when you're coming to use it. And I'm going to prove it to you with this example right here. There's the picture. So basically what this does is takes two numbers by the user, finds their sum, divides it by 2, and checks if it equals to 0 or not. If it's 0, it's an even. If it's not, then it's an odd. It's very simple. As you can see here, you don't even declare like put like integer, if it's a double, float, whatever you want to use in front of the numbers. It just declares it instantly. No, okay, these are numbers. You don't specify what they are. Compared to other languages, which I'm going to show you a bit of the same example, there you have to specify what type of variable this is. Is it a number? Is it a character? Is it a boolean? What is it? We don't know. You have to specify. But this gives you more freedom when it comes to such things. The second language will be Java. It has long, steady, stable in enterprise. It has Android backend, and it's used in large systems. So basically, if you're starting, you want to build an Android application, yes, you will start with Java, and then you might eventually move to Kotlin, which is very simple to Java. Also, it has strong community, it has managing tools and stability, which still keeps it relevant. And many legacies still depend on it. So here I'm gonna pop a picture. It's the same example as it was in Python. So you have two numbers. You find the sum and check if divided by 2 equals 0 or not. So as you can see, the key difference here is that you have to specify what num1 and num2 is. So basically you have to declare these variables, aka to say if they're integers, if they're floats, double, if they're numbers, if they're a character, if they're a boolean. Boolean usually returns only true or false. So basically if something you declare is false, then check if, for example, is valid is equal to true, then you display some message or you proceed with whatever task it is. So as you can see here, things are a little bit more stricter. This is the back-end language. So here is where the difference comes. Front-end language is usually caring about the design. For example, if you want to make a website, you will use HTML, CSS to care about the design, aka what colors you have, what the font will be, how big the size of the letters will be, all this. But the back-end, for example, if you want to make a calculator, and you want to take care of the logic, aka how exactly the math operations will be done, you use Java, C++, and other languages. So as you can see, comparison Java to Python, yes, there are some similarities, but also it's a little bit more stricter compared to Python, and it doesn't give you that much freedom. Number 3 is the language that I'm currently studying, and this is JavaScript. This is more front-end oriented language, and it's running Node.js at the back. Also, if you start learning JavaScript, at some point you will need TypeScript as well. These languages are going hand in hand together. So TypeScript became more popular because it's used in larger apps to make them more safer and also more manageable. So if you're applying for a job as a full-stack developer, probably, or to say mandatorily, with JavaScript, you will need to know TypeScript as well. So here I'm going to show you the same example that we run in Python and Java. So as you can see here, the variables are declared with the word let. No matter if it's a number, no matter if it's a character, if it's a boolean, you still use the word let. Back in the days, people were using var, but now more modern JavaScript is using the word let. Also, to display messages in the course that I'm studying, we're using console log compared to alert, but it's still gonna do the same. So as you can see, compared to Java here, you don't have to strictly specify what the variables are, because when you're hovering with the mouse, technically it shows you if it's a boolean, if it's a number, if it's a char, or anything else. So yes, it kind of seems like Python when it comes to carefree simplicity of usage. It's just not the same as Python at the same time. Number 4 is C++. It's not as popular as it used to be, let's say 10-20 years ago, but still one of the go-to languages when you need real-time systems, performers, game engineers as well. When you start studying, no matter if programming, if it's at university or in high school, this is one of the languages here in my country that people usually start with. It's just to catch up with the basics, and of course it's kind of similar to Java. Like, you have the same concept, same strictness when it comes to writing functions, objects, classes, but I have to say that yes, it's still there in Jarkix, people are still using it, but not as much as they used to use it. So here we're gonna pop up, it's the same problem that we're solving with the past programming languages. So as you can see, it's kind of more similar to Java when it comes to JavaScript or Python, but it has its structure here. You still have to define variables, if it's a double, if it's a character, like in other languages, but at the same time, it's not that popular. And honestly, if you're looking for a job, I wouldn't recommend you go for C++. Pick another language which is more popular and more trending. Like, for example, front end, you can never go wrong, because with front end languages, you also, for some reason, you will still learn a back end language and you will just have more job career opportunities. Number 5, we have C#, based on C++. It's versatile, especially in Windows, game dev, utility. It's of enterprises. It's not as popular as it used to be. Some charts are ranking it higher, others lower, but no matter what the ranking is, this programming language is still relevant. Yes, here I'm going to pop up the picture, the same example we're running with every single language, and as you can see, it's very similar to C++. So basically, if you're studying C++, somehow you will still enter into the world of C#, and yes, you will study these two languages together. But as you can see, very similar, again, strongly oriented. It's a back-end language, mostly for the logic, not for the design, but it's just not as popular as it used to be. For number 6, we have Go, or some people might know it as Golang. This is a programming language designed by Google, and it's also known for its simplicity, concurrency responsiveness, and performance. It's used mostly in clouds, microsystems, back-end, and infrastructure tools. Here, I'm gonna pop a picture. It's the same example that we're running. As you can see, it kind of looks like JavaScript, because I said that before the word let to declare variables, people were using the word var. Also, it's kind of simple to use, carefree as well. And as you can see, doing these comparisons, programming languages have the same logic. Yes, we do have the same problem running, but as you can see, the way they're written, one language kind of looks similar to another one. One is front end, one is back end, but we're still using all these languages. And stay tuned, because I'm going to show you which languages are most looked for when you're searching for a job. For number 7, we have Rust, which is also known as safe systems language, combining memory safety with performance. Also, it is good for a system, for performing critical modules, and it's replacing C in many cases. You know that one language is not as performing as it used to be, popular as it used to be, if it's getting replaced by another language. So here we're gonna pop up a picture, same example as we're running in this video, written in Rust. So as you can see, for example, there are similarities with JavaScript using the word let to declare the variables. If you pause and compare all these languages, it will be a good example for you if you want to start learning programming, decide, oh, which language should I start with? This is totally based on preference, but Rust is also gaining its popularity, staying relevant, so it's one of the choices when you're looking for a job, for example. For number 8, we have SQL. Even this is more like query-oriented language compared to general purpose, it still stays relevant in 2025. I have used SQL in university. Most of my tests, I'm given a query and I have to see from this what it will turn out to be the answer. Also, I have used it in group projects where I had to create databases for different purposes. So here is the same picture, same problem, just written in a simple query language like SQL. So as you can see, compared to the other languages, this one is a little bit different. It doesn't use the same purposes, but definitely it's one of the reasons, because databases are an everyday thing when it comes to programming. This is why such languages like SQL are staying relevant till today. Number 9, we have PHP. It's still debatable if it's very used, commonly used programming language 2025 or not, but I'll say it's still relevant. I used it in university and my task was to create either a web page or a whole website using PHP, a little bit of HTML and CSS. So I found this tutorial on YouTube where it shows you how to create a Facebook duo. Basically, you create the website that you can like, comment, share, post, and receive notifications. So unfortunately I didn't have time to finish the whole project, but I had a lot of fun and learned a lot about PHP. So here, pop-up picture, same example we're running through this whole video written in PHP. Yes, it's a backend language, not compared to using JavaScript, but still it's used in a lot of web pages and web development in general. So this is one of the reasons it's still relevant. For number 10, we have emerging, or some people call them watch these languages. One of them is Mojo. So Mojo is a newer programming language, still not blended into the world compared to some other programming languages, but it's aimed to use Python's usability with system level performing. So another example is Carbon. These are languages which are still newer, still in the process of development, so they are not as popular as other languages. But the reason why people call them watch this, because these languages will keep developing eventually in the future, and they might even replace some of the current languages that we know. So here is the same example written in Mojo. So as you can see, it kind of has similarity to Python, a little bit to JavaScript as well. Each language has its own style, let's say it like this. But at the same time, they're all, I would say, copying from each other. So they're using some styles, oh, this language is very popular. Okay, we're going to create a new one. You kind of have the simplicity and the usability of this one, but also we're going to add something from ourselves. If you have stayed till the end, this is the bonus. I'm going to pop a picture here. This is from a local website for the IT community that offers jobs. So as you can see, they're divided into different categories. We have front-end, we have back-end, we have database, Q&A, anything, and you can see which languages are required, how many positions are available. So if you find a job that you're interested in, you just click in, it gives you a description, what are their requirements, because probably they're gonna need a few languages to know specific thing. For example, if you're looking as an intern or junior, you need object-oriented programming for sure, and some skills depending on the language that you have chosen, and something that it's mandatory if you're gonna be in the programming IT world, this is English. Some of the companies might require you to study another language like German or French, but everywhere English is mandatory. So my advice is, if you don't know English, first learn this, then continue with programming, otherwise you won't be able to succeed. Also, every programming language is in English, so said simply, English rules the world nowadays. Okay guys, so that was it. I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below if you are a programming developer and what language do you use. As I said, currently I am specified in JavaScript, so this is what I'm learning, and hopefully this language I will use for my future job. So yes, side notes, I am also doing some projects for myself, I'm filming YouTube videos, but this is the priority, this is my major, this is what I graduated from university. I'm also studying for master's degrees, so hopefully things will turn out well for me and I will find a good job. But honestly, nowadays IT is one of the well-paid jobs around the world, so you can always start. It's never too late to start if you have the motivation, if you're ready to do this, because yes, it's not gonna be easy if you think, oh, this is super easy, I'm gonna understand it. If you've never touched programming before, It's not gonna be easy, like every single new thing that you try. But at the same time, if you get the spark and if you're entertained, I guarantee you this will be so fun for you. But that'll be the video. Hope you enjoyed. Please smash that like button if you like this video, share it with friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. And I'm gonna see you next time. Bye!